Welcome back for a new top 10 list. This time we are looking at arguably 10 of personal favorite Magic sets of the 2010s. So, with that said, hopefully you enjoy, see what you think. First, we got a couple honorable mentions. Keep in mind, these are just my personal rankings, so nostalgia is heavily involved with these sets, as it would be around 2009 frame that I would first get into Magic. So with that said, a couple of honorable mentions. First up, honorable mention front, Core Set 2013, which has some legit really cool reprints and is a solid overall in my opinion. Also, honorable mentions, Shadows over Innistrad, which has some legit really cool cards. Definitely some great vampire cards, needless to say, the world of Innistrad, as well as if you're into zombies and werewolves, also a great set. For me, it's probably my top three favorite Innistrad sets. With that said, other honorable mention I think is a somewhat criminally underrated set that I'm surprised doesn't get more love, and that going to Ether Revolt, the middle stepchild, I guess you could say, of the three sets that take place in the world of Ether. First being Kaladesh, which I don't really have enough cards of to really give my overall evaluation of the set as a whole. So, with that said, and I personally think that more modern Ether Drift is actually underrated, but Ether Revolt is awesome. There's some legit really cool multicolored type cards and some also really awesome artifact cards in the set, and a few really cool lands. With that said, coming in at number 10, this would be my introduction to the world of Ravnica. Now, this set is actually surprisingly still, if you're interested in collecting, is relatively affordable for being from the early 2010s versus many other sets of that same time frame. But this would be our first return to the realm of Ravnica in a special block of three sets. Of course, coming at number 10 is Return to Ravnica, which of course we would also get Gate Crash and of course a little set called Dragon's Maze, which I do plan on eventually getting a Dragon's Maze bundle to do an opening of, as it's a pretty cheap set to get. Most because there's nothing really too high value in the set is why the price has not gone up. But Return to Ravnica is a great set. There's some superb, great multi-types, especially some really nice lands in the set as a whole, and quite useful, as well as some many great creatures and some also really good sorcery cards and enchantments. So with that said, coming in at number 9 was the debut of the set of Innistrad, the original Innistrad, the beginning of the first block of Innistrad cards. I would say out of the three sets, at least of cards that I've collected, original Innistrad is easily my personal favorite, but I do really love later sets. Like, I specifically have a real soft spot for Eldritch Moon, is easily one of my favorite sets. But I would say original Innistrad, Eldritch Moon, and probably Shadows over Innistrad are my favorite older Innistrad sets. Modern, my favorite is probably Crimson Vow. I know, somewhat controversial. But so you can't go wrong with original Innistrad, especially the classic original Liliana card in original Innistrad is sick. Though I kind of like the certain stuff from Eldritch Moon just since I'm a big fan of Eldrazi creatures. Speaking of sets and things, coming in at number 8 is arguably one, probably, of sets that take place in the world of course, Mirrodin, or rather just in general Pyrexia. I would say this is definitely in my top 3 favorite sets of this era. Coming at number 8 goes to Scars of Mirrodin. Now, personally, I'm a little bit more partial to Besieged over New Pyrexia I don't have a lot of, and it is way too expensive to collect now, New Pyrexia. Which sucks, because there's some legit really cool infect cards in that set. But Scars of Mirrodin is awesome because of a certain platinum artifact creature, which is broken as heck, and there's many great broken cards in Scars of Mirrodin. It is a superb set for anybody who likes playing with artifact type creatures. Definitely, if you get a chance, and you can find reasonable price cards from Scars of Mirrodin, check them out. Coming in at number 7, I feel is maybe the most underrated regular Ravnica set. Personal opinion only. Coming at number 7 is Ravnica Allegiance. This set is great. Definitely a really cool set and many freaking broken cards. If you've never check out my top 10 list for my top 10 favorite cards from Ravnica Allegiance. There's some legit really freaking broken cards in that set. In the rares, uncommons, and commons, there's some really good cards in this set that you can use for a pauper deck that I highly recommend, in fact. Especially if you like combinations of like blue and white, definitely check out this set. Seriously, there's really busted cards in this set. A lot of people seem to not realize. With that said, coming in at number 6 is a tie between my two favorite core sets. Coming at number 6 is a tie between Core Set 2011 and Core Set 2012, each for different reasons. Core Set 2012 I like for specific reprint cards in it, and 2011, admittedly, one of the reasons I'm very biased and partial to 2011 is because of Platinum Angel, which is one of my top 5 favorite artifact creatures of all time in the game. At least the time period that I've played. And I miss this era of Magic, back when Standard and Modern were the dominant, formats. Really, more or less before really Pauper was a big thing, and I don't think Pioneer was that big at the time either, and definitely Commander was not the juggernaut at the time. It was Standard, which is my preferred format, besides also Pauper. With that said, coming in at number 5 is technically it more or less predominantly revolves around only Ravnica, obviously. Number 5 is a set that tends to get a little bit more hate than you would think, given it is great in the fact you have like 36 different Planeswalkers. This would be the first set that would introduce uncommon Planeswalkers. Also, the great big battle between Liliana and Nicol Bolas, the great dragon god. As well as you have, of course, many other individuals like Ugin and many other key figures. Of course, Jace. You have just some really legit, really broken cards in War of the Spark. Yes, top 5 favorite sets, easily in my top 5 of the 2010s. Heck, it's in my top 20 favorite sets of all time. War of the Spark is a set I'm very partial to and have a real soft spot for this specific set. I've really enjoyed, and I look forward in the future doing an unboxing video of a Japanese booster box of War of the Spark because of all the cool alternate art that is exclusive to the Japanese only version. There would be one alternate artwork in Japanese anime manga form for every one of the 36 Planeswalkers. Unfortunately, the Liliana one is rare to pull, which is why it tends to hold a pretty decent value of over $100. With that said, coming in at number 4, we get to my favorite block in Magic, the original World of Zendikar block. And coming at number 4 is my least favorite of the 3 big blocks. Or rather, 3 big chapters of the block. Coming in at number 4 goes to Rise of the Eldrazi. The real debut of the Eldrazi type with Annihilator, which made, frankly, early Eldrazi's insanely overpowered and insanely broken. Like, it's hard to compare Rise of Eldrazi era Eldrazi cards versus any future era. Like, there's not many other creatures that can challenge the strength of early Eldrazi. Annihilator made him OP is all heck. I would say, though, Eldritch Moon era Eldrazi cards were also still pretty OP. Not as much as Rise of Eldrazi, but still up there. Plus, with the creation of the Titans in the world, and the fact core creatures are some of my favorite types of creatures in all of Magic. Still, if you get a chance to pick up anything from Rise of Eldrazi, do it. There's some really insanely good even commons that you could use in a pauper deck. Coming in at number 3 is my favorite set from the world of Mirrodin / Pyrexia. Coming in at number 3 is Mirrodin Besieged, which is the only set that I am close to actually completing the full set of. I am currently only missing 4 cards from having the complete set of Mirrodin Besieged. It's not one of the most sought after sets, but it is very overpowering. There aren't many really land cards in the set, but the land cards that there are, let's just say, very overpowering and could break, definitely, games in your favor if you know how to use those specific cards. Also, the artifacts from the set, like Brightsteel Colossus, could break the game on its own. But also the fact it has mirrors, which are one of my favorite types of creatures in all of Magic, along with Eldrazi. I love mirrors, I love core, but mirrors are really one of my favorite parts about Besieged. There's some really, really powerful strategies you could come up with mirror decks and stuff from this time period. Basically, I would usually do like a artifact blue deck with mirrors. But with that said, coming in at number 2 was the first Magic set I would actually collect for. That being the original Zendikar, released in 2009. Original Zendikar is amazing, great set. I still have a heavy amount of nostalgia for. If I can come across any cards really from the original Zendikar block, I will immediately buy them. Original Zendikar, even more so, is insanely bit on the pricey side of things to collect for. Like, it's pretty pricey along with Rise of Eldrazi. But there can only be one ultimate set, and that is my favorite set of the original Zendikar block. A set with some crazy, nutty, over-the-top lands that were special hybrid-style lands that get occasional reprints. Some of them even got reprints in Edge of Eternities, which I appreciate. Coming in at number 1, also with probably my favorite art angel card of all time. Coming at number 1 for me of the 2010s is Worldwake. By far, is my favorite set. It is definitely, I would consider, a smaller but super powered smaller set, just like really Mirrodin Besieged. It's a very powerful small set. The fact is, Mirrodin Besiege and Worldwake are both under 200 cards. So they are not humongous size sets. Price-wise, Mirrodin Besiege is definitely the more affordable of the sets. Well, of my top 5, it, and definitely by far the cheapest, War of the Spark. But Worldwake is definitely cheapest of the 3 of the original Zendikar block. It's less sought after, though it has one of the most OP original, of course, Planeswalkers of all time, Jace the Mind Sculptor, and probably my single favorite land card of all time, the Eye of Ugin, which is an insanely broken card, especially when you see its ability, especially if you want to use like an Eldrazi style deck. If you have Eye of Ugin and Eldrazi Temple, you can pretty much break the game. Yeah, let's be honest. And that's something I've thought about, maybe trying to build my own personal Eldrazi Commander deck in the future, using cards from my Eldrazi Commander deck that I got from Modern Horizons 3. With that said, I'll see y'all next time. And if you're curious, music in the background, it is the main thing for the gardens in Final Fantasy VIII, my personal favorite FF game of all time. With that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe, and give me your thoughts. What are your favorite Magic sets of the 2010s, and what is your favorite era, or rather block, from the 2010s, or world? Zendikar, Mirrodin, Ravnica, Dominaria? Give me your thoughts, or original Ixalan. Well, with that said, I'll see y'all again soon.